Okay, I think that we can start now officially. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this Tandem Industry Academia Postdoc information session. My name is Petr Poutanen, and I am the CEO of the Finnish Research Impact Foundation, Vaikuttavuussäätiö. So I will just like to start by informing you how today's session will run. We will begin by outlining some of the key aspects of this funding within this first portion of this morning's session, and it will also be recorded. And this recording will be made available afterwards. So please note that the discussion that will follow after this information session will be dedicated to your questions, and this session afterwards will not be recorded. So we will only be recording this information session. Feel free to ask questions as we go along, and you can use chat feature. So do not yet use your microphone at the first part of this session, but you can freely use the chat feature. So now, without anything further to add, I would like to introduce Outi Vanharanta, our Research Impact Officer. She will present this funding opportunity to you. So Outi, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Petro, and good morning, everyone. So let's go through some of the basic idea of the funding model and the basic principles of this Tandem Industry Academia funding. So the purpose of the Tandem Industry Academia funding model is to strengthen collaboration between academia and industry, and thereby to increase the impact of research. And in order to do this, the TIA postdoc model funds projects that further the aims of academic research, but are also relevant from the perspective of companies and the industry more broadly. And the projects we fund, they are 2-year research projects that are carried out by a postdoctoral researcher who works at a Finnish university or research institution in collaboration with an industrial partner. And so during the 2-year projects that we fund, the postdoc works 12 months at the research organization and spends altogether 12 months at the company site. And the months worked at the company can be flexibly allocated throughout the 2-year project, depending on the project needs. For example, during year 1, the postdoc can spend 4 months at the company site, and in year 2, 8 months at the company, whatever is most meaningful from the perspective of the project. A few words about conditions and requirements related to this funding. First, the project needs to be a so-called pre-competitive project, which means that it's early stage, usually high risk explorative research with no direct influence on business, and the results of the project need to be made public and useful for the industry more broadly. And naturally, the project should be based on mutual interest and genuine collaboration that benefits both parties, both the academic side and the business partner. And it's of course important that it has the potential for both academic and industry impact. The funding itself is granted to the university or research institution for the purpose of hiring a postdoc researcher for 2 years. So what is required already at the application stage is a committed industry partner, and therefore it's a good idea to start discussing with a potential partner well in advance before the application deadline. And the applications, they are assessed by 2 independent external reviewers. And in the evaluation, equal weight is given to the academic quality of the research and the impact of the project on business and industry. few words about eligibility and roles. So the application itself is completed and submitted by the project's principal investigator, PI, or by someone who has been authorized by the PI. But the PI is usually a senior level researcher, such as a professor or group leader, who is then in charge of supervising the funded postdoc at the academic host organization throughout the 2-year project. And the postdoc who is hired to the project should hold a doctorate degree with less than 10 years from obtaining the degree. And the postdoc does not have to be appointed at the application stage, but he or she can be appointed also after the funding decision has been received. And what comes to the industry partner, the partner should be a business organization operating in Finland and whose operations are relevant for the joint research project. And it's important to ensure that the industry partner has the relevant resources, processes, and expertise to provide for the project. So we don't have any limitations as to the size of the project, the company, but it has to be able to provide the required resources and have the relevant functions in Finland. And from the industry side, an industrial supervisor is also required, who is responsible then for the implementation of the project on the company's side and the supervision of the postdoctoral researcher, who is then spending the 12 months at the company. And then a few words about the application process itself. So the first stage of the process consists of the written application submitted via the application system, which has been opened today on March 4th, and it's open until 14th of April. And during the application period, we provide one-to-one coaching sessions for applicants. There is a link for booking a coaching session in the funding call, which can be found on our website. So if you want to discuss your application with us, that is possible. And when the application has been submitted, the system sends an invitation for the industry partner to fill their part of the application. So here it's important for you to check with your industry partner that they have received the invitation. Sometimes it may end up in a spam folder, and then please ensure that your industry partner fills the form in time. So we have outlined in the application instructions the information that is required from the industry partner. You can check it out from there, but it's quite a simple form that we send then for them to submit. And once you have submitted the application, you still have 24 hours to make amendments to your application. So if you feel that you want to still make some small changes, that is possible. But anyway, it's a good idea to submit your application in good time and ensure that you have all the necessary documents, such as the commitment letter from your institution, in place well before the deadline, because it's a Sunday, so you might want to have all the necessary attachments already at hand on the previous week. And then finally, the applications are reviewed by outside reviewers. As I said earlier, each application is reviewed by 2 reviewers who represent academic research and have experience from the industry. And finally, after these reviews, the board of the foundation makes the final decision based on the reviews. And the final decisions are made and announced late August 2024. And then a couple of words still about the hiring of the postdoc researcher, because we have made some small clarifications to this. So the postdoctoral researcher can be named in the application, but the requirement is that at this stage, the person needs to hold a doctorate degree or at least a permission to defend from the faculty. Now the projects should start at latest by January 31st, 2025. If a suitable postdoc has not been found by the planned start of the project, an extension to the January 31st deadline can be applied for. However, it's important to note that the foundation reserves the right to withdraw the funding in its entirety if the postdoc researcher has not been hired within 12 months from the grant of funding. All right. Now I will give the screen to Petra, who will show where to find the application system and other important information on our website. And after that, we will move on to the Q&A. The floor is yours, Petra.
Thank you, Outi. So let's just quickly walk through some of the important materials on our website and the application process. So when you visit our website, you will notice the link on our homepage. You can find it on the right on our homepage, but you can also access the materials through going to the navigation section, funding and open calls. You can directly also access the application system, which is the place where you fill the form, and this is called grant application system in the navigation bar. So simply click on it and access the further details. Next slide, please. So within the call page, you can also find the complete call text for this this funding, and from there you can access the guidelines of the Tandem Industry Academia postdoc funding. And these guidelines consist complete instructions for how to make the application. So it's very essential for everyone thinking about applying for this funding to carefully review these application guidelines first and ensure that you understand all the requirements, and if not, and if something is missing, then you can just easily contact us and ask further clarifications. When you go towards the end of the guidelines, you will also find the same link as on the navigation bar on our website's homepage, which is the grant application system. If you click Apply Now button, you can access the actual system. So this is the application system page, and it's called Rimbert. It's another software, and when you visit this site first time, the first step is, of course, to create an account in this for this system. And once you have your account set up, you can proceed to submit your application. But let's just draw our attention to two important links. They are marked here with a red circle. The first link there, Can I Apply, leads you to a sort of a pre-application questionnaire, which is really short, and you can test your eligibility there and get some extra information. The second link, Preview the Form PDF, enables you to download actually the full application form in PDF format. And this document contains all the necessary sections and fields and instructions how to actually do the application form. So it's a great feature, and you get a lot of information about the application form by downloading this PDF. Also, I would like to note that the industrial partner form cannot be downloaded directly from this system, but you can find all the necessary information, questions, and about the attachments also in the application guidelines on our website. And if something is missing or you're wondering something, you can just contact us and ask more. So one of the questions sent for us beforehand was about good examples of projects that we have funded over the years. So I would like to introduce you shortly with a few, let's say, testimonials of the projects that we have funded over the years. This project here is an example on a project that was from the very first Tandem funding from the 2020, and it focused on advancing computational methods for automatic language identification. And in this project, there was the industrial partner was a Helsinki-based company called Linksoft. They specialize in developing speech recognition solutions, for example. And this collaboration was between Helsinki University and Linksoft. And for the researcher, it provided access to the company resources, and also the company, once they were integral part of the research project of the Postdoc, they also received valuable insights from his knowledge and research-based skills. So this is one example of collaborative projects that we have funded over the years. The next example is a joint project between Helsinki University and Valio, and this project focuses on measuring nitrous oxide emissions from Valio's grasslands. So again, this project is a good example of research in which the research team got access to the company challenges and resources, including knowledge, data, materials, production processes. Sort of, they were able to go through quite big number of these grasslands and make their measurements there. But this was also very valuable, of course, for Valio to get exact information about the emissions directly from the world-class research team. And if you think about it from a larger perspective, this sort of collaboration not only benefit the industry, but also contribute to the overall, let's say, well-being of the environment and society from a larger perspective by promoting more sustainable practices for Valio, for example. And third piece of project, which was focusing on revolutionizing the pharmaceutical industry. They had an idea of using the power of machine learning in chemistry to optimize the process of pharmaceutical synthesis and identify new roads to develop drugs, basically. And if you think about this project, the company actually got a unique opportunity to also develop their own skills, while at the same time contributing to the groundbreaking research in the field. So all of these projects on their own, they illustrate the mutual contribution and benefits that both partners got when they are achieving bigger impact-related goals. So these are good examples of the projects funded lately. Okay, at this point, I would like to thank you all for participation and joining us today, and we will conclude the presentation part of the session.